Potter Profile on Draco Malfoy Part 1, a Cast a Spell series. Draco Lucius Malfoy was born on June 5, 1980, to Lucius and Narcissa Malfoy. Both came from wealthy, pure-blood families deeply rooted in the Slytherin house at Hogwarts. They held strong beliefs in upholding family traditions and heritage. Narcissa would sing a special lullaby to Draco with a mysterious origin that belonged to the Black family. Draco grew up feeling regret that Lord Voldemort didn't succeed in taking over the wizarding world. He was reminded not to talk about these feelings outside his family and close friends to avoid getting his father, Lucius, into trouble. The Malfoy family took pride in their pure-blood heritage and social status. Before 1996, they were able to maintain their respectable image while supporting Lord Voldemort. Lucius avoided Azkaban by claiming he was under the Imperius Curse during the First Wizarding War. The Malfoys spoiled their son Draco by giving him lavish material possessions, yet he also inherited their deep-seated prejudice against those who were not pure-blood wizards. Draco's upbringing led him to befriend other pure-blood children, such as Theodore Nott and Vincent Crabbe. As Draco approached school age, his father favoured sending him to Durmstrang Institute, a northern European school known for teaching the dark arts and not accepting Muggle-born students. He thought it would be scandalous if Draco didn't attend Hogwarts, where his father was a board member, possibly leading to Dumbledore's retirement. Despite this, Draco's mother was against the idea of him going far away. Eventually, she persuaded Lucius to let Draco decide which school to attend. In 1986-1987, Lucius took his son Draco on a surprise visit to Hogwarts to sway his decision. While there, he criticized the school and Slytherin house, trying to influence Draco. However, Draco ended up getting involved in uncovering a conspiracy against Slytherin. Professor Snape praised Draco for his role in solving the case, which convinced Draco to choose Hogwarts despite his father's disapproval. With the promise of a second birthday cake from his mother Narcissa if he chose Hogwarts, Draco's parents ultimately sent him to the school. In 1991, Draco encountered Harry at Diagon Alley while shopping for school supplies. They met at Madame Malkin's Robes for All Occasions, where Draco shared his negative views on Muggle-borns and Rubeus Hagrid. Despite this, he was cordial and friendly towards Harry. During their first ride on the Hogwarts Express, Draco Malfoy tried to befriend Harry Potter because his father saw Harry as a dark wizard. However, Harry was put off by Draco's snobbish behavior towards his friend Ron Weasley and found him similar to his unpleasant cousin Dudley. As a result, Harry rejected Draco's offer, leading to a lasting rivalry between them during their time at Hogwarts. When Draco arrived at Hogwarts, he was sorted into Slytherin house, continuing the family tradition. He quickly bonded with his fellow Slytherins, but held a strong animosity towards Harry Potter. During the first flying lesson, one of the Gryffindors, Neville Longbottom, lost control of his broom, causing him to fall from the sky and break his wrist. After Madame Hooch took Neville to the hospital, Draco began making jokes about him.
Did you see his face, the great lump? The other Slytherins joined in. Shut up, Malfoy, snapped Parvati Patil. Ooh, sticking up for Longbottom, said Pansy Parkinson, a hard-faced Slytherin girl. Never thought you'd like fat little crybabies, Parvati. Look, said Malfoy, darting forward and snatching something out of the grass. It's that stupid thing Longbottom's gran sent him. The Remembrall glittered in the sun as he held it up. Give that here, Malfoy, said Harry quietly. Everyone stopped talking to watch. Malfoy smiled nastily. I think I'll leave it somewhere for Longbottom to collect. How about up a tree. "Give it here!" Harry yelled, but Malfoy had leapt onto his broomstick and taken off. He hadn't been lying. He could fly well. Hovering level with the topmost branches of an oak, he called, "Come and get it, Potter." Harry grabbed his broom. "No!" shouted Hermione Granger. "Madam Hoots told us not to move. He'll get us all into trouble." Harry ignored her. Blood was pounding in his ears. He mounted the broom and kicked hard against the ground, and up he soared. Air rushed through his hair, and his robes whipped out behind him, and in a rush of fierce joy, he realized he'd found something he could do without being taught. This was easy. This was wonderful. He pulled his broomstick up a little to take it even higher and heard screams and gasps of girls back on the ground and an admiring whoop from Ron. He turned his broomstick sharply to face Malfoy in midair. Malfoy looked stunned. "Give it here," Harry called, "or I'll knock you off that broom." "Oh, yeah," said Malfoy, trying to sneer but looking worried. Harry knew, somehow, what to do. He leant forward and grasped the broom tightly in both hands, and it shot towards Malfoy like a javelin. Malfoy only just got out of the way in time. Harry made a sharp about-turn and held the broom steady. A few people below were clapping. "No Crabbe and Goyle up here to save your neck, Malfoy," Harry called. The same thought seemed to have struck Malfoy. "Catch it if you can, then," he shouted, and he threw the glass ball high into the air and streaked back towards the ground.
Draco flew back down and watched as Harry dived and somehow caught the Remembrall with ease. This infuriated him, especially when the rest of Gryffindor House started to applaud him. As soon as Harry landed on the ground, Professor McGonagall shouted Harry's name. She looked furious and demanded Harry follow her. To Draco's delight, her attention remained fixed on Harry, completely ignoring the protests around them. He couldn't help but smirk, and soon the rest of the Slytherins joined in, bursting into laughter at the prospect that Potter might be expelled. However, Harry didn't get expelled. Instead, he became the youngest Seeker in a century, which really irritated Draco. Out of jealousy, Draco challenged Harry in the trophy room. But Draco had no intention of attending the duel, as his main aim was to get Harry into trouble for breaking curfew. Draco tipped off Filch, the caretaker, claiming someone would be in the trophy room at midnight, hoping Harry would be caught. However, to Draco's frustration, Harry managed to evade getting caught. After the Christmas break, Draco was chatting with Crabbe and Goyle outside the library when he noticed Neville passing by. Excited about practicing the leg locker curse he had just learned, Draco decided to test it on Neville, who fell to the ground, his legs stuck together. Draco and his friends then rushed off to the Slytherin common room, laughing about the curse. Later that year, Draco caught Harry trying to move Hagrid's pet dragon Norbert out of the school. He told Professor McGonagall, but didn't think his actions through, as he was subsequently given a detention as he was also roaming the castle after curfew. Draco's detention was to help Hagrid, Harry, Hermione and Neville find a hurt unicorn. He didn't like this task, calling it servant's work, but Hagrid insisted he do it. During the search, Draco and Harry saw Voldemort drinking a unicorn's blood, causing him to flee in terror, leaving Harry alone. Draco felt happy when Slytherin was leading to win the House Cup at the end of the school year. However, his mood changed to disappointment when Gryffindor ended up winning after Albus Dumbledore awarded Harry, Ron, Hermione and Neville extra house points for their brave actions to stop Lord Voldemort getting the Philosopher's Stone. Before his second year at Hogwarts, Draco Malfoy was at Flourish and Blotts, while Harry Potter, the Grangers and the Weasleys were shopping for new textbooks by Gilderoy Lockhart. After Lockhart gave Harry a free copy of his book, Draco came over to insult him. When Ginny Weasley defended Harry, Draco mocked her by implying she was Harry's girlfriend, which unintentionally hinted at their future relationship. Lucius Malfoy, Draco's father, was also there and met Harry for the first time. He encountered Arthur Weasley and insulted him for being associated with muggles like the Grangers. Infuriated, Arthur attacked Lucius, causing everyone to leave the shop. In his second year at Hogwarts, Draco Malfoy became the seeker for the Slytherin Quidditch team. His father purchased new Nimbus 2001 brooms for the entire team, which led Hermione Granger to suggest that Draco only made the team because of this. Furious at her comment, Draco insulted Hermione by calling her a filthy little mudblood. This angered the Gryffindor Quidditch team, and Ron attempted to cast a spell to make Draco vomit slugs. However, Ron's broken wand caused the spell to backfire, much to the amusement of Draco and his teammates. Ironically, Draco's actions contributed to Slytherin's loss to Gryffindor in Quidditch that year. While he was too busy insulting Harry Potter, he failed to notice the golden snitch hovering just inches above his left ear. Harry seized this opportunity and caught the snitch, leading Gryffindor to victory. After the match, Draco was scolded by his team captain, Marcus Flint, for his foolishness, a scene that George Weasley witnessed. On Halloween, a shocking message appeared on the wall, written in blood. "The Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the heir, beware." When Draco and his friends walked out of the Great Hall, they found the message beneath Mrs. Norris, who had been petrified. Draco, taking advantage of the situation, shouted, "You'll be next, mudbloods!" This not only suggested that he knew about the Chamber of Secrets, but also made him the main suspect in Harry's, Ron's, and Hermione's eyes as they began to wonder if he had opened it. In response to the panic caused by the opening of the chamber, Professor Lockhart decided to create a dueling club. His goal was to teach the students how to defend themselves against whatever dangers might be lurking at Hogwarts. Draco was chosen to duel Harry Potter by Professor Snape. When the duel began, Draco broke the rules and started casting his spell after counting to 2 instead of 3. This led to both boys throwing jinxes at each other. As Professor Lockhart had forgotten to teach them how to block spells, all the students were a little worse for wears. Once Lockhart realized this mistake, he wanted Neville Longbottom and Justin Finch Fletchley to demonstrate, but Snape stepped in and insisted that Harry and Draco duel instead. Encouraged by Professor Snape, Draco conjured a snake to attack Harry. However, Harry surprised everyone by speaking to the snake in Parseltongue, which stopped the attack. This incident led many students to start thinking that Harry might be the heir of Slytherin. Draco was frustrated by this notion, finding it absurd that anyone could believe St. Potter could be associated with Slytherin's heir. Harry, Ron, and Hermione thought that Draco might be the heir of Slytherin because of his prejudiced views on Muggleborns and his family's history in Slytherin House. To find out more, Hermione made Polyjuice Potion in a bathroom on the 3rd floor, allowing Harry and Ron to disguise themselves as Draco's friends, Goyle and Crabbe. When they entered the Slytherin common room, Draco unknowingly shared information that confirmed he wasn't the heir and didn't know who it was. However, he mentioned that the Chamber of Secrets had been opened 50 years earlier and expressed a desire to help the true heir if he could. Draco's father, Lucius Malfoy, was actually behind the opening of the Chamber of Secrets. He did this by giving a diary belonging to Tom Riddle to Ginny Weasley, who was a first-year student. Lucius's plan was really to target her father, Arthur Weasley. Draco didn't seem to know about his father's plan because Lucius had told him to keep his head down that year. The diary was actually a Horcrux, which held a piece of Voldemort's soul. Harry destroyed it by stabbing it with a basilisk fang in the chamber. When Professor Sprout and Madame Pomfrey were praised for reviving the students who had been petrified, Draco didn't join in the applause. Instead, he threw them a disdainful look. During Draco's third year, he teased Harry about how scared Harry was of the Dementors that were patrolling near Hogwarts in search of the escaped prisoner, Sirius Black. Draco also brought up Black's alleged crimes against Harry's parents, which Harry didn't know much about at the time. He suggested that if someone had betrayed him and caused the deaths of his own parents, he would want revenge. During a Care of Magical Creatures class, Draco accidentally provoked a hippogriff named Buckbeak and got injured. However, he exaggerated his injuries to make them seem worse than they really were. Draco did this to get sympathy and to use the incident against their teacher, Rubeus Hagrid, in hopes of getting him fired. During the Quidditch match against Ravenclaw, Draco, along with Vincent Crabbe, Gregory Goyle, and Marcus Flint, tried to distract Harry by pretending to be Dementors, with Draco standing on Goyle's shoulders. However, they were all knocked down when Harry successfully cast his first automatic Patronus charm. They didn't realize that Harry was more affected by the Dementors' presence than by the Dementors themselves. As a result of their attempt to sabotage Harry, Slytherin House lost 50 points and they all received detention from Professor McGonagall. Additionally, they were reprimanded by Professor Dumbledore. Draco made fun of Hagrid for being upset about the case involving Buckbeak. This angered Hermione and she slapped Draco. Meanwhile, Lucius Malfoy wanted Buckbeak to be executed and he managed to get that sentence. However, Harry and Hermione used a time-turner to save Buckbeak and later gave him to Sirius Black once they proved his innocence. When Draco and his father found out Buckbeak had escaped execution, it made them both very angry. In 1994, Draco Malfoy went to the Quidditch World Cup with his parents. They were guests of the Minister for Magic, Cornelius Fudge, and sat in his luxury box because Lucius had donated a lot of money. After the match, Death Eaters invaded the camp, causing chaos and destruction. Draco sat right behind Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and he teased them. He made fun of the Muggles they were attacking and suggested that they might target Hermione because she was Muggle-born. When Harry asked if his father was involved in the chaos, Draco replied, "If they were, I wouldn't be likely to tell you," hinting that Lucius was indeed participating. Later, on the train to Hogwarts, Draco continued to mock Harry, Ron, and Hermione for not knowing about an upcoming school event. In his fourth year at Hogwarts, the school hosted the Triwizard Tournament. Draco Malfoy was jealous because Harry Potter, who was too young to enter, was chosen as one of the champions. To show his support for Cedric Diggory, Draco handed out badges that said "Potter stinks" and made fun of Harry often. He even bet that Harry wouldn't last long against the dragons. However, Draco was wrong when Harry tied with Victor Crumb for first place and managed to grab his golden egg faster than anyone else. Draco Malfoy also played a role in getting Rita Skeeter to write false and scandalous articles about Harry, Hagrid, and Hermione for the Daily Prophet. He knew that Rita was an animagus, which allowed him to influence her writing. These articles damaged Harry's reputation and made it harder for people to believe him when he announced that Lord Voldemort had returned at the end of the school year. One of the articles that Draco helped create was titled Harry Potter's Secret Heartache, which focused on Harry and Hermione. Sometime after the first task, Draco tried to sneakily cast a spell on Harry. However, Bartemius Crouch Jr., who was pretending to be Alastor Moody using Polyjuice Potion, caught him and turned him into a ferret as punishment. He bounced Draco around the room until Professor McGonagall intervened. This incident left Draco feeling very embarrassed, while the other students found it hilarious. Ron even called him the amazing bouncing ferret. Throughout the year, other students teased Draco by pretending that Professor Moody was behind him, making him flinch. Even Hagrid joked that Draco had made a good ferret, which left him speechless. Later, during Christmas, Draco went to the Yule Ball with Pansy Parkinson. At the end of the school year, Draco made fun of Harry for choosing to oppose Voldemort. He also mocked Cedric Diggory's death, thinking it would get a rise out of his classmates. However, before he could say much more, Harry, Hermione, Ron, and the Weasley twins, Fred and George, fired several curses at him, shutting him down quickly.